driver for the number 51 Junior Late Model, 2023 champion, and you're watching ONTrack Weekly.
Everybody, KMK back with you here on GeForce TV. It is Sauble Week. We finally got to it after a week where we switched to the Ontario Sportsman Series. This week we've got Sauble Speedway. I want to thank Cole Camrath for that great introduction. As we continue our trek around Ontario, as we get ready for the 2024 racing season, nothing more exciting than being able to cover all sorts of great racing action, tracks, series, racers, and of course the action itself when we get going. Only a couple months away. Motorama officially next week, or in 2 weeks, I guess it is. Next week, yeah. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the start of racing back in Ontario. And man, I can't wait. Lots of good stuff, and we're going to make sure that we got the week covered here with some Sauble Speedway action. We'll talk about last season. We'll talk about their 2024 schedule, and we'll see who potentially could be behind the wheel at Sauble Speedway this season. I know there's definitely some people that are be interested on how this year will go at the beach, and we'll definitely get started. I want to thank Brad Holmes for all of his help, the new GM at Sauble Speedway, and of course CGC Racing, Steve Decline and Pops Campbell for their help in getting some of the updates and getting some of the information here. There was a lot of deciphering that had to be done, but we got it out. We've got stuff ready to go, and we'll get started and start talking about what it's going to look like at the beach this year. Obviously, I'm still new to learning about Sauble Speedway, but from one of the races that I have seen at the facility, it is one hell of a facility, first off. And it is one that, they have a tough go of it. I think perhaps a lot of people maybe don't think about and don't realize just the box that Sauble Speedway is in, with curfews and with weather, and their racing season is a lot shorter than a lot of the other racetracks. So they don't have as much, but they have to pack as much as they can into a short amount of time. And, sometimes stuff doesn't go as well as they were hoping. They get right up on the curfew, and that can happen. But we know that they're going to try their hardest each and every week to put on one heck of a racing show for everybody. We'll take a look at kind of the point standings and how that went. We'll take a look on their schedule, but we'll also take a look at all the competitors that participated at Sauble last year, and some of those names that are pretty reputable, pretty big in the racing community. So hopefully we'll continue to see things grow up at the beach this year. I think that there's a lot of change that we know of that's taking place. Obviously, it starts at the very top with Brad Holmes coming in as the GM, replacing John Carley, and that's going to be a big transition. No matter what you say, higher up positions, when they switch over, it's a new regime, a new person in charge, try and get stuff going, and it is a bit of a challenge, and I think we have to remember that. Growing pains, of course, but if you want to look any further into Brad Holmes, he will be the guest on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast this week, so make sure you go check those out Stickers and Scuffs on Facebook and YouTube. Best bet to find that interview with Brad Holmes. We'll talk about the 2024 Sauble season and what potentially could be in line for the beach. And obviously, we want to make sure that you are continuing to support your racing no matter which track you're going to. So whether it be Sauble, whether it be Flamborough, Delaware, Sunset Speedway, Full Throttle, Peterborough, it does not matter. Get out there and go to the racetrack. We suffer with a long off season, so definitely let's get out there and enjoy some motorsports in 2024. We're going to start by taking a look at the schedule for 2024. We'll go down through each event, and we'll talk about what's going on up at the beach for 2024. And of course, anybody, if you want to chime in, definitely let me know. I've got the comments up for Facebook and for YouTube, and I want to hear from people about their opinions, and I want to hear people about what their experiences are at the beach. From what I can tell, there is a good fan base. It's just, it gets a little bit tough up at the beach to have regulars, and that's what we've kind of seen at this track. Hopefully that'll change in 2024. Let's take a quick look here at our, we'll start off with our 2024 season schedule that was posted on their Facebook page, January 2nd, as they kick off. Hopefully everybody can see that. I'm not sure how incredibly easy it is to see, but let's just make it a little bit, no, we want to make it a little bit better than that. So we'll kick off at the beach. We'll go over to the divisions in just a little bit, but actually, you know what, we'll go right now. All right, you got your Sauble Speedway Legends Series, the United 8s, the Russell Fencing and Decks Junior Late Models, the Bone Stocks, and the Late Models. You got to thank ImageDrops.ca coming on board this season. Let me see if where it was here. So you got your ImageDrops.ca Legend Cars in 2024. Thank you to Craig and Doug Camrath for supporting the Legends class at Sauble Speedway. You got the divisions. Gonna have 4 home track Legend 8s. You got to be at all of them. There's going to be 7 races in total. $250 to win the Legend races. You say, again, in conjunction with Great Lakes Legends and Ontario Legends Racing, we will host 7 events this season. And obviously, you want to go to the beach and win yourself a surfboard. That's one of the coolest trophies out there. It's like winning an igloo for Frosttoberfest. It's up there with one of the cool trophies to get. Points fund, again, they said they're going to announce that later, but 1st to 11th, $250 down to $50 to win June 8th, June 30th, July 27th, and August 10th. That's the regulars for your week to week. And then Epic Racewear joins for the brand new Bone Stock division. Now, this is replacing the Combined 4s. Officially moving on from the Combined 4 division. I believe that there is also, they're doing away with the breakout times. I could be wrong, but my understanding is that the breakouts aren't a part of it any longer. $250 to win on the regular night payouts, but then you got the Dash for Cash, $1,300 to win a Bone Stock race. That's a good price. $600 for second place, $500 for third. Pretty good for your Bone Stock races. And of course, how about Epic Racewear coming on board and supporting the Bone Stock division out at Sauble Speedway. The late models. Now, this was a really nice pay. You look at this, $2,000 to win. And Mike Campbell pops confirming, yes, breakout time is gone for the Bone Stocks. So full Bone Stock racing. This is the time to do it, folks. Head up to the beach because the Bone Stock division, don't be telling me that you can't make it up there. This is great. And the fact is, this announcement here, you had J.R. Fitzpatrick saying what a great deal this is. So $2,000 to win, $1,000 for second, $600 for third. Note, it doesn't look like there's a title sponsor on this one, but it doesn't mean that they don't want one. So definitely, if you're interested, Sauble Late Models could definitely use a division partner. And, we'll talk about who potentially could be there, but based off of some of the names that we had last year, I think that there very well could be some more names coming out and racing, especially when you have good pays. Believe it or not, if you put good money up, people will come and they'll race. The Roots Gas Bar United 8s are back once again. $500 to win, but if it is on the Cash for Dash payout, $2,500. And Nick Hamill's got a great point here. Somebody put the reigning Sauble Speedway Bone Stock champ in a car for Dash for Cash. Great idea. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Incentives like that make it fun, make it worth people going out, winning the championship, competing week in and week out. And yeah, I love that. Nick, that's a great idea. $300 for second place, but again, that Dash for Cash is definitely the big deal here. And for Roots Gas Bar to be back once again supporting the United 8 Series, thank you, Roots, for what you do. That is correct, Vale Nation. Brad Holmes is the new GM out at Sauble Speedway, and we'll definitely be excited to interview him for our Stickers and Scuffs podcast this week, and figure out what's going on, how he got to that position, and what can we look forward to here at Sauble Speedway. Russell Fencing and Dex Junior Late Models are back once again. A pretty full division last year. There was a lot of good competitive racers that were a part of this division last year. And $100 to win on the regular night. But when you look at that payout, $400 on the Dash for Cash, I would love to see us continue to build the junior late model programs. There's some big news around junior late models as well. JDC Motorsports, I believe, put it out today that they've got Bandoleros coming as well. So who knows what the future for the junior racers in Ontario will be, but it looks pretty bright. Dash for Cash up there, and there's always a good amount of competitors that head out to the beach each and every week. And I love seeing this. Young Guns, you've got this. You've got, even actually, if you put the two and two together, up at Sauble, you've got the juniors with Russell Fencing and Dex, and then Ontario Sportsman Series partnering with the junior late models up at Varney Speedway as well at Full Throttle. So you've got those two. Peterborough's had a stacked junior late model division, and now Sunset as well. So really, things are looking fantastic in terms of the junior late model programs across Ontario as we continue to try and build the future stars of racing. Absolutely love seeing this, and congratulations and thank you to Russell Fencing and Dex for coming back on board with us. So let's take a look at this schedule as we've gone through the divisions. Kickoff of the beach is June 8th. Now again, that is starting a lot later than what the other racetracks will do. That's based off of Sauble's schedule. Like, they can do what they can do. So they'll start June 8th, kickoff at the beach with junior late models, bone stocks, United 8s, and Proform modifieds. And then it is Oscar night. One of my favorite nights. Anytime there's Oscar with the hot rods and the modifieds. Bone stocks also add to that card, and King of the Hill. Anytime you got King of the Hill, that's a great, great time at the racetrack. Cruise to the track on June 22nd. Junior Late Models, United 8s, Sauble Late Models, and Great Lakes Legends. If you haven't seen those Great Lakes Legends, man, those guys and gals know how to put on a great show. Canada Day Bash. This is a back-to-back. You got 2 nights of racing on the 29th. The Bone Stocks, Can-Am Midgets, Outlaw Midgets. 2 series of midgets on the same night. And the Ontario Sportsman Series, a series close to my heart. We always have a lot of fun up at the beach, put on a great show. And, you know, it gets a little chaotic. I'm not going to lie. We've had a little bit of chaos up at the beach the last couple of races we've been there. But, we're happy to be there once again. And then part 2 on June 30th with the junior late models, Sauble late models, and the Can-Am midgets going 2 for 2. Midgets both days. We talked about this during the Sunset episode, but I love seeing the junior late models get their opportunity to shine on a big weekend like this. That's what you do. Definitely put out the kids and give them their opportunity to shine in front of a big crowd. Sunburn weekend, hopefully not, July 6th. United 8's super late models coming back to the beach. Ontario Pro Challenge. Love seeing the Pro Challenge cars coming up. King of the Hill. Then you got an off weekend on July 13th and 14th. The Beachcomber on July 20th for junior late models, Bone Stocks, United 8s, and Sauble late models. Then we get to some pretty big stuff here. You got the Shoreside Throwdown, part 1. Part 1. You got Bone Stocks Sauble Legends, Sauble late models, Shoreside Throwdown mini stock. Now I assume that should say mini stock invitational, perhaps, but it's Shoreside Throwdown mini stock on July 27th. That's only the first one. So more information on the invitationals are going to follow, however. But right now, yes, all I can say is yes. I like ideas of throwdowns, mini stocks, invitationals. Hell yeah. Mini stocks are my favorite, one of my favorite divisions, really, and probably my favorite division in general. The competition level in the mini stocks is insane, and having invitationals is definitely fun. Dash for Cash then follows on July 31st. The Dash for Cash with the junior late models, Bone Stocks, and the United 8s. And then Beat the Heat is back. And we got part 1 and part 2. Beat the Heat on August 3rd with the APC series back with the Great Lakes and Ontario Legends combined. It was a little messy last year when we had the combined effort. It took a while to get going. But there was something crazy, like I think it was like 28 Legends that were out racing that night. And then add the Can-Am midgets on top of that. And then you don't just get that. You also get the next day junior late models, Bone Stocks, United 8s, Can-Am midgets, Great Lakes, and Ontario Legends again. So all of a sudden, your stacked weekend gets even more stacked. And like I said before, put those kids in a big weekend like this. That's a great opportunity for them to get noticed. Great opportunity for them to get a good experience, and hopefully we'll bring up the big counts. Hopefully, Shoreside Throwdown Part 2, and we'll see if I can get this to go down. I don't think I can for some reason. Let me go. There we go. Shoreside Throwdown Part number 2 for the Bone Stocks United 8s, and then 8 Invitational on August 10th. Surfside Derby, love that name, great name. Surfside Derby on August 17th for the junior late models, Sauble late models, and Oscar hot rods and mods. Gotta love having the Oscar divisions back up at Sauble. And then on the 17th, on the 24th is the APC weekend. They return once again. Now this is the way that they're going to close out the season. They're going to go out with really stacked cards. You've got the APC Prolates, United 8s, and Bone Stocks for APC weekend on the 24th. And then it is the end of the season, unfortunately. It is a short season here at Sauble Speedway. But Boss of the Beach, Bone Stocks being added to this. Now, it's a regular Bone Stock race on the 31st, but a 40-lapper on September 1st. Gotta love that. 75 freaking laps for the United 8s on September 1st. The Outlaw Midgets back for both days. The Sauble late models for both days. And the Ontario Sportsman Series. And that is going to be a big show for the Sportsman Series, as that is close to the end of their season. In fact, I believe it's the second last race in their championship. And that will definitely play a role potentially in who would win that title. Last year, it was really chaotic for the OSS Series. And we don't want to have a situation quite like that again. But a pretty good schedule here for Sauble Speedway, and obviously we hope that they can get a ton of people out to the beach this year. Obviously, this is a pretty stacked schedule in a short amount of time, and that's exactly what you want to have. Is you want to be able to have attractive schedules, and there's a lot of great stuff here, and a lot of support for their junior late model divisions, the Sauble late models. There's still more Sauble Legends races that are going to be added. That hasn't been fully, I don't believe, confirmed yet. All of their races, as was posted, they will be adding them to make sure that they don't overlap with the other Legends races, which is, again, that is what we need. We need to be working together with the series, working together with other tracks, so that we can afford to have good shows, and we're not cutting half of our field out because they're racing on their weekly events. We don't want that. So a solid start for their 2024 schedule. I know they've still got some information to come out. I definitely want to see more about those mini stock invitationals. All about those. And so the 2023 schedule was a little different than this, but the season itself concluded, and the way that it was explained to me that their points series work is that you have to participate in every single event to be considered for the points. So when we take a look at the point standings for last year, just bear in mind that there's going to be low numbers, and that's because not everybody participated in every single race. So this is the numbers that I have that were given to me, and so we've typed them out. And who was the reigning bone stock champ? Yeah, we didn't really have a bone stock champ last year. We had a combined 4, which was Pat Farrow. But we'll definitely take a look here and see our divisions from 2023. Let me just make sure we make this a little bit smaller. So our Sauble standings for 2023. Again, there's a little bit of difference compared to some of our other tracks that we've seen. A lot of tracks, of course, you see quite big counts, but you can't really have that everywhere. And as we talked about Sauble, we'll talk a little bit more about this in a little bit, but they have a really, really tough situation there that they have to kind of deal with. So I definitely think that people are really quick to harp on the racetrack, but considering they have a curfew when a lot of places don't, makes it a little difficult to get everything in and get people down there. And not to mention if weather impacts a lot of the races as well. So Pro Late Models, Tom Gibbons, and that's a familiar name that a lot of us know from the APC United Late Model Series, was your champion over Zach Casemore and Zach Sprung. Again, regulars that ran every single event. And then if you continue on to the United Eights, Jason Parker. Yes, well-known Jason Parker, running out of has been a part of the Quick Superstock Series for many years. Winner, actually, in that. Former competitor in the APC United Late Model Series as well. And one of the most beautiful rides. I believe it's like a silver Virtue Farms on the side of that I will always remember, that number 8. I'm not sure if he's going to keep that same look or what the plans are for Jason Parker this year, but always fun to watch. Matt Johnston, second place, and Nick Hamill and Austin Finley in that United Eights division. We continue on. Pat Farrow and Mike Brown were the two that competed in every event. And coincidentally, first and second in the point standings. In the INEX Legends, Cole McFadden won the championship over Smokin' Joe Adams and Austin Arnell. And in the junior late models, the guy who introduced us tonight, Cole Camrath, was the champion over Wyatt Sprung and brother Carter Camrath. Now, while the point standings are small, it doesn't show the true story. There was quite a lot of competitors that came up and ran with Sauble this year, and some on a more regular basis. Some were just missing one start, and it didn't mean that they qualified for points. So we'll definitely, I'm not sure if that rule is going to stay. I honestly don't. But for one thing, you got to do what you can do to get people in to the racetrack, get people to come out. Based off of some of the counts that I see here, they'd have some good weekends. Let's take a look at some of the competitor names that we did see run at Sauble Speedway in 2023. There's a good possibility that we'll see a couple more of these names run maybe more regularly, but competitors in 2023, we'll start with just the prolates. Tom Gibbons, Zach Hasemore, Zach Sprung. Caden Wright was a more regular competitor out at Sauble. Also did, I believe, compete in the APC series events. Jaden Chapman formerly ran, I don't know if he'll be up there really this year. Jaden's already made the announcement that they're going to run full-time, I believe, in the prolates at Delaware. So I'm not sure if he's going to be back. I'm sure he could do like an invitational or a one-off. People come down for the boss of the beach for sure. Jason Parker, Josh Stoddy from the APC United Late Model Series, Junior Farley as well. Former champ Andrew Gressel in the 81, Cole Quinton. Ty Kavlin, who is somebody we will expect to see back. And former AP Series champion Joe Lawrence all competed. In fact, Joe Lawrence won one of those prolate races last year. United Eights, Austin Finley, Matt Johnston, Nick Hamill, Jason Park. Look at the list of the names here. Now, it might not be as big as others, but for these guys, definitely, they got a lot of competitors throughout the entire season. Nick Hamill, Jason Parker, Caden Wright, Jake Zevenbergen, Amy Cassidy, Zach Hasemore, Jason Ritchie, Taylor Nelson, Jamie Adams, Chevelle in the Oscar Hot Rod Series, Darren Wright, Nick Clark, Doug Wilson, Kevin Finley, Mike Herniak Jr., and that's an OSS car. I loved seeing that out on the racetrack. Andrew Gressel, Rob Wark, Trevor Critchley, Mike Ford, Luke Dipple, Dave Francis, Nick Holman, Junior Farley, David Rockwood, Jerry Broom, Dalen Martin, and I think Herb Walters. I'm not 100% sure. There was some glitching in the naming of some of the competitors. So, but again, what I love seeing about this, you got competitors from the OSS series, you got competitors from the Oscar Hot Rods, from the Full Throttle Hot Rods, all being a part of this division. You gotta love it. That's one of those things that if you can bring more competitors to the track, no matter what it is, if it's a United 8 division, then do it. I was hoping Herniak would have a bit better run when they were out there for Boss of the Beach, but unfortunately that didn't work out for them. But we'll see what this year brings. Junior late models. Now this was a division that I thought was actually quite stacked in terms of the names that you have racing in the junior late models. Cole and Carter Camrath, Wyatt Sprung, standout out of the Sunset Speedway. He runs starts the season there too. Like the Camraths, Thomas Gibbons and Oliver Gibbons, Caleb McConnell, Josh Davenport, standout as well. He definitely does a great job. Del Freiberger from the Full Throttle Motor Speedway, Judah and Malachi Busnick, Ryder White, Cohen Newman, Jake Spencer Walt, Alyssa Brunette, Violet White, and Evan Hastings. Some of the good, talented racers from across Ontario in their junior late models. Obviously, some of those names probably won't be back this year. Some have aged out of the junior late models, so we won't see them. But at the end of the day, I know at least you'll get a couple of these names back. Hopefully, we'll get a couple more. I think these guys always put on a great show. I do know that there was one heck of a tumble that Josh Davenport took in his junior late model. Really, really bad flip at turn 2, I believe. And he was okay, but definitely crazy stuff happening at the beach for the junior late models last year. The Onyx Legends, Cole McFadden, Smoke and Joe Adams, Austin Arnell, Todd Tolton, Tyler Gillian, Todd Laughlin, Matt Boys, Jason Legg, Adam and Wes Cuthbertson, McKenna Robson, Jade Franklin, Jordan Latimer, Jim McFadden, Amber Wallace, Joe Sherman, and Steve Garreau. The Legends, of course, are if you watched a Legends race at Sauble Speedway, you're in for a show. Now, aside from the 28 car fiasco that we did have last year, I'm going to say it was a fiasco. It took a couple of times to get going until I believe they had to start single file because they kept wrecking. But the Legends, man, they don't mess around at Sauble Speedway. They go all out, balls to the wall, and really it is one of those tracks that is just, it's perfect for the Legends, and they are a highlight. And the fact that you're going to get to see the Great Lakes Legends and Sauble Legends combined with, again, you add in the Ontario Legend Series, stacked upon stacked field of cars. Now, the division that is not back in 24, and this could see the biggest change, is the Combined Fours. Combined Fours is gone. It is now bone stock cars. And so those that were set in this division that were, quote, mini stocks would not qualify. I do know there's at least one for sure departure that I know of, but there's definitely some other ones I think we can expect. Roland Goodfellow, Pat Farrow, Steve Hurd, Scott Schluter, Mike Peterson, Mike Brown, Ryder White, Glenn Schmidt, Mike or Pops Campbell, we always call him, Dustin Johnston, Peyton Lewis, Julia Boss, Layla Walzer, Cole Ecker, Matt McDonald, Dustin Goodfellow, Rick Van Cleef, Dave Middleton, Jeff Morrison, Isaac Dipple, Cam Thompson, Gary Jones, Matt Young, Jennifer Hatch, John Custance, Bob Stewart, Graydon Bond, my good buddy, got his first start in the Combined Fours. Will Gibbons, Sandy Eccles, Daphne Sullivan, Josh Clark, Miss Penny, Lucas Chapman. Yes, you read that right. 10-year-old, I think we may have been 9 years old last year. Lucas Chapman, Mike Etzel, Chris Lawrence, Dave Dipple, Anthony Newman, Gary Jeffrey, Bob Stewart, Tatum Grind, Scott Jeffrey, Colin Gade, and Austin Etzel. So we did have a solid amount. And again, a lot of guys came for the bash. The hope is that you get more week to week now. By having the breakout time demolished, by having bone stocks as the division, hopefully that means you're going to see a bit more regular returns. You know, it's we talked about it before. It is a bit of a distance to get to the beach. I mean, for myself, that's one of the reasons that I actually don't make a long trip there. It's about 4 hours there and back for me. But what you have to do is what we've been talking about with a lot of the Sauble regulars is you have to make it an event. It's not a simple, let's just go for a couple hours to watch some racing. No, you're going to go and experience Sauble Beach. Go and experience, be a tourist, get to the boardwalk, you have to go to the beach. Like, that's one of the first things you got to do is you got to go out to the beach, explore the towns, explore the trailer park, Sauble Falls, Trent Taylor Park, tent and trailer park. It's about having that experience. And I think one thing that Sauble, like no other track, has to deal with, at least currently, is the hours that they can run. That is without a doubt the hardest thing. I've heard some crazy numbers, and I'm sure Pops or whoever is a regular can correct me, but I've heard some numbers like you can't start your engines until 4, maybe 5 o'clock at night, and you only have until, I believe it's 11, but I'm probably wrong, and not a minute later. And that, while we like to say, that's plenty of time, it makes things very, very rushed. Very rushed. It's a lot easier from the outside to say, oh, okay, we'll do this, and this. Well, that just doesn't always happen. You also have to mention, too, like the situation that you have is there's touring series, that come out and travel good distances to come to these races. And I would say that there's maybe some decisions I've made in the past that people go, oh, well, I don't like that. Absolutely. You hear it all the time. Like, it is every place that something happens that somebody does not like. Absolutely true. Having races end under a curfew is not what the track wants. It's not what the fans want, not what the series want. And unfortunately, that happened last year. Unfortunately. If things don't go to plan, it's all good. But as soon as something bad happens, unfortunately, a situation like that, it's what people tend to remember. And one thing that I saw last year that really it doesn't help is people going off and saying, well, I know back in the day, this is what I used to do, or this is what used to happen. Well, it's not back in the day. It's not. It's a different time, and it's a different place, and racing is not what it was, 10, 15 years ago. Hell, not even 5 years ago. It makes it very difficult to make those judgments. It's easy to say, well, I could have done this, this, and this, and it would fix the problem. Well, you have no idea. Unfortunately, we as fans tend to go a little bit quick on our decisions and our judgments. This is the year. This is the year. It feels like this is the time. You've got a fresh GM in there. You've got a fresh schedule. You've changed up some divisions. You've got some new partnerships. You've added to the costs. Most crippling sentence in all humanity is, it's okay. It's how we've always done it. Yeah, exactly, Derek. You can't. You just, looking back, I listen, I get it. I mean, I've heard it countless times about when we did a conversation mainly on the Pinty series. Oh, we used to have 60 cars, and we used to do this, and we used to do, but in back in CASCAR, well, it's not CASCAR. It's not 2000 anymore. Racing as a whole really is very similar. In fact, I had to compare them. Racing is basically what Sauble is dealing with. Racing, for the most part, has a curfew, is what it feels like. It has a time limit. It has attention spans that are really kind of hard to hold on to. And when you do have a track that is in a hotbed of tourism like Sauble Beach, you have to try and get people to come to the racetrack instead of going other places. So not only do you have to compete against that, but you also have to try and get the racers to come out. Now, the best example that I can give about how a first impression can be given is last year with my good buddy Graydon Bunn. And he and the entire family went and absolutely loved Sauble Speedway. Loved the trailer park, the tent and trailer park. Loved everything about their time. And it was one of those, well, we wish other people knew about this. And it's true. I think, you can make a solid week of it. If you even just go for the Saturday, then you have all of Sunday. Make a trip, a weekend trip at Sauble Speedway. Go on the Saturday and then have a day at the beach on the Sunday. Getting away, definitely. It's a hotbed. And we've heard from people at the track. We're very good friends with CGC Racing, and they have been very open about what it's like at Sauble Speedway, the competitors, the fans, the track itself. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that track. I think that track is phenomenal. In fact, I do wish, and I don't know how realistic it ever would be, but I would love to see the NASCAR Canada Series go to Sauble. I know it's not really likely, but that track just seems especially for at least our OSS guys. It can be a lot to handle. I'd love to see what the NASCAR Canada Series guys could do there. Obviously I know there's some reasons why that won't happen. But it's just like the APC Series. I found the APC Series does not put on a bad race there. It is a lot of fun to watch. I mean, aside from, I'm sorry, Legend guys, but aside from the chaos that they had last year, the Legends put on a hell of a show. The Midgets put on a hell of a show. I will always say OSS puts on a heck of a show as well. A fantastic show at Sauble Speedway. And for this year, Brad Holmes coming in, new GM. This is a building year for him. You've got to he's going to come in, going to do whatever he can. But I feel like this is an observing time. He's got to see how things work and see what he can do with the ownership group, with the competitors, build the momentum. I think the Bone Stocks was a smart move, but I also think if you can work together with other tracks, I think working together with Full Throttle has tons of guys and gals that come for the special events. So if they can work together on, on the pro lates, on the junior lates, on the mini stocks, on the United 8s, the combination efforts, and then all of a sudden you got guys coming up from Delaware making a track. I mean, personally, and I'm going to go out and say that this is one of the things I'm most excited for is Chris Lawrence. And the reason I say that is BT Racing is not just a friend, but BT Racing has done a phenomenal job at Delaware Speedway. And I would say some of the garnered attention to that division definitely has BT Racing to thank. Main reason, BT's providing a quarter of the field. If it's not all their cars, they're also helping on a whole bunch of other ones. Now all of a sudden you've got Chris Lawrence and BT Racing that are going to have representation up at the beach. And I believe Chris has stated on a couple occasions that they're planning to at least attend a couple. But when you're starting a division, you're bringing in a bone stock division, why not have the guy that has a fleet of bone stocks coming in as well? Because if you want somebody that knows the division, just coming back from running down in Florida, listening to suggestions, listening to ideas, having some experienced bone stock racers coming up and being a part of it, I can't see that being a bad thing. Not making the decisions as such, but giving their side. Saying, hey, this is what we should do. Or this is what we could do. Or even just as simply put cars on the racetrack. And as you guys may well know, BT Racing is very good at putting cars on the racetrack. So going into 24, they've got some big help there. Obviously, you want to have a bit more regulars. And I agree with their point standings is that you need to compete in every event to qualify for points. I would go maybe 90%, and you can miss one type of thing instead of every single one, because I think there were a couple more drivers that were close, like there were one out, and all is there was 1 week where they had bad weather and people didn't make the track. So it's a tough deal, right? Like I'm not sure what the best case is there, but like I said, Brad Holmes coming in, and he's gonna make a go of it, and he's gonna give it a shot, and that's what you have to do. I mean, getting on the social media train is going to be very important for Sauble. They need to be on it. From a lot of fans that we talk to, the main reason why other tracks are getting a lot of love is the social media game. Is they're constantly posting about stuff. They're updating fans. They're posting pictures. They're posting videos, interviews. You've got programs like ourselves, like Stickers and Scuffs, like this program, where now all of a sudden we're talking about the racers. We're talking about who is there and who is doing what. But it can't be just on the media side. It has to be from the track as well. High quality pictures go a long way. Interviews, just simple TikTok sized videos, reels, interviews with winners, those go a long way. And the reality is that you can do everything on a phone now. The best part about it is that you could record it, and if you don't have service, you upload later. But it's done. It's there. So they're going to have a lot of options to do stuff this year. They're going to work really hard. I've already seen their websites being worked on. You know, we're really excited to have opportunities with Sauble Speedway, and potentially we could have some more names. Now we've got some guys and gals that are so far confirmed to be going and racing at Sauble Speedway in 24. Now, as far as I know, these are weekly competitors. These are not one and dones. These are drivers that are competing for the championship. Now, I'm not as privileged to be totally aware and in communication with a ton of racers from Sauble, but I do know some, and I've gotten some confirmations from them. So let's take a quick look at who we've got so far, and then we'll continue on. Before we'll talk just about the rosters, and then we'll likely wrap it up for tonight here on ONTrack Weekly. So as we'll start over with our junior late models, it's gonna be really hard to see, so just give me 1 second. Let's make that nice and big. All right, so far I only have the 2 Camraths, but I can expect that we'll probably see Wyatt Sprung back up there. Josh Davenport, I would expect to see him up there as well. The guys and gals that you saw kind of routinely, the Gibbons boys, if they're still going to be up there. So we got those 2 to start. And Cole coming off as the defending champion, he'll definitely be tough. And the big division for me is to watch this year is going to be the bone stock division. Now, the big switch is going to be the transition, because, as we mentioned, the mini stocks division, mini stocks were part of that combined 4, and if they don't have a car that conforms to the bone stock rules, then they can't run that. So as of right now, I know one, Ryder White, who ran most of the races last year. I believe he attempted all of them. I could be wrong, though. Ryder White's going to head back down and run in the mini stocks at Sunset Speedway in 2024 instead of running up at Sauble Beach. Not sure as well what's going to happen with Layla Walzer. She also had a mini stock-esque car. So they were the 2 that kind of ran out there more regularly in terms of the younger mini stock racers in the combined 4s. But we do know you guys all do a great job. I wish this was something that was going back in the day. Even a quick cable show before the interrupts. Yeah, Derek, we're working on it. We'll try and get something a little bit more regular. But bone stock divisions coming to the beach. Father and daughter team in conjunction with BT Racing, Joy Morin and Corey Morin. Very exciting stuff to see both of those out there. Kyle Neumeister has confirmed to me that he'll also be running at the beach in 2024. Good news for the number 92. And then our boys at CGC Racing, big news for them in the offseason. They got a second car, former Alex Stewart car, and that was the Terry Labonte number 16 last year. It's going to be on the track with their number 81. So they got an 81 and an 82 CGC racing cars. Now they're going to be a little bit of rotation. I can't confirm which is going to be which this year, but we know at least a driver rotation including Pops Campbell, Steve Decline, Mike Campbell, John Custins, Kathy Forsyth, and Graydon Bunn right now. So there's at least 5 to 6 driver swap out happening. So I'm not sure whether they're going to have any dedicated car for points this year with all those different drivers, but CGC Racing's all in, and they're supporting this division. And you've already got 5 so far, and I'm sure I'm missing some because I'm just not familiar with them. Be curious to see what happens with Pat Farrow, the champion from the combined fours, whether he'll be back next year. Mike Brown as well. Lots of names that were close in the top of the standings. Obviously, those were the 2 that ran every single event. So we definitely like to see what those guys do. Cole Ecker has confirmed to be in the United Eights with Dave McMahon. Those both drivers both also planning on competing in the Oscar Hot Rod Series. We see some hot rods out at Sauble Speedway. Obviously, we wait for news to drop on Jason Parker. Wait for news to drop on a lot of the United 8 racers and see what's going to happen there. In the Legends, big news this offseason as well is that Cole Camerath is going to switch into a Legend car, number 51. He's already got this car. So they'll definitely be out there. He's going to be running later. I believe he's going to run a couple of races. Not a full season slate, though. That very well could change, though. If you end up having only a couple other competitors with you, why not, right? Go out there and do both for a bit. And right here on Break It Up on the show here, Nick Hamill has confirmed he'll be back in the United Eights for 2024. So we'll add that. Nick Hamill confirming that he will be back in 2024. So welcome back to Nick Hamill in the 18. And that's breaking news right here on the show tonight. So congratulations, United Eights. You got a 3rd member of the roster so far. I know there's going to be a lot more, but this is just who I have right now. In terms of Pro Lates, it's quiet. Ty Cavlin, they did announce, Jomo Media had posted that Ty Cavlin was going to do a half and half, likely Flamborough and Sauble splitting time at both. Cavlin did make a start last year at Sauble. I would expect you to see some of the regulars, Josh Stoddy up there. Definitely would think you're going to see Tom Gibbons back. If I actually don't even know what Gibbons is going to do this year. He hasn't announced if he's back in the APC series either. So, and that's the other thing. We don't know if you'd see maybe a Danny Benedict show up one week. We know Danny's not running full time. J.R. Fitzpatrick, don't know what he would do. He's the one that was commenting how this is a very nice pay. So very possible. And all of a sudden, you get a couple of those names coming out on a regular basis, and the beach gets very, very busy. But that's what we have so far in terms of our roster list. Of course, if you want to be added to the roster, just send me a message. Let me know. Here on GeForce TV, make sure you subscribe, like, and continue to tune in to ONTrack Weekly. This was our look at Sauble Speedway. Do yourselves a favor as well. There's obviously a lot that's going on with Sauble Speedway. So if you can, make sure you get out and follow their social media here. Let me just make sure I can make this a little smaller. So you got Sauble Speedway on Facebook, 5.5 likes, 6.7 followers, 6.7K followers. Get out there. I know that they're working really hard on building this track, building it better and better each and every week. They got some charity efforts that they've been talking about, more regular posts, and that's what you want to see. Covering races, covering racers, posting new stuff each and every week. And this is what we want to see. Lots and lots of interactive posts. Obviously, I want to throw some big thank yous out. This episode would not have been able to happen without a couple of people. And obviously, I want to start with the new GM of Sauble Speedway, Brad Holmes, who, without him, would not have happened today. So thank you, Brad, for sending all that info forward to me. And then, of course, big thanks to Steve Decline and Pops Campbell from CGC Racing, who really were able to help spearhead getting some of that information to me so that we could put this episode together. Make sure you head out to the beach this year in 2024. This has been our Sauble Speedway event, our episode here on ONTrack Weekly. I think we're going to be doing some United Racing Series next week. We'll talk about the APC United Late Model Series, Quick Superstock Series. Take a look back at the Oscar Hot Rods and the Oscar Modifieds from 2023 and look forward to all 4 of those divisions in 2024. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, but we really appreciate it. It really helps us with the algorithm here. And of course, subscribe to G-Force TV every week. You get some great content, including Race Rivals, Race Chat Weekly, Oshweekend Racing, and of course, you can't go wrong with In Conjunction at Racing America. You're going to get the production value of G-Force TV, bringing you the APC series all season long on Racing America. Make sure you guys continue to support week in and week out. We really appreciate it. ONTrack Weekly for Sauble Speedway is wrapped up. We'll catch you next week as we cover the United Racing Series here on